Good morning, class. My name is Shogunle James. I'm a student of Babcock University, and I'll be talking this morning on the impact of music on national development of Nigeria as a nation. Now, before we proceed, I would like us to talk on the behavioral objectives. Now, what do I mean by behavioral objectives? It simply means the things I mean to achieve by the end of this course or by the end of this class. Now, first of all, one, the students must be able to define what is music. Now, after defining what is music, you must be able to list some of the facts about music. Now, what do we use music to achieve as a nation, as a person, as an individual? How does music relate to us? Then on the third aspect, we talk about the popular music we have in Nigeria, the different genre of music we have in Nigeria. We talk about the negative aspect of it, the positive aspect of it, and how it can be used to harness the national income and national development of Nigeria as a nation. Join me as we proceed. Now, let's define music. What is music? Music is the science or art of ordering tones or sounds in succession, in combination, and in temporal relationship to produce a composition having unity and continuity. Also, we can also say it could be defined as a pattern of sound made by musical instruments, voices, or computers, or a combination of these, intended to give pleasure to people listening to it. Now, what does that mean? It means if I do I produce a sound to an extent. Now, if I come before you and say, lift up your hands and sing unto the Lord, it means like something like I can make a tune out of it. It simply means it should bring pleasure to the people. My voice should project in a way that it should bring pleasure to the people listening to it, and not a noise. Having defined what music is, let's talk about some facts about music. Number one, music may help you think better, analyze matters faster, and work more efficiently. Number two, studies have shown that music triggers notable improvement in a student's academic skill when they listen to certain type of music while they are studying. In fact, to be factual with you, there was a time with when music's like the likes of I'm trying to picture the music. Country musics and jazz were used as an instrument for boosting the level of intelligence of kids outside the country. So music can be used to trigger notable improvement in student improvements. Number three, music stimulates the area of the brain that are responsible for your thinking, planning, analyzing, thereby improving your organizational skill and making you more capable of handling challenging mathematical problems. Number four, music can, with stronger beats, causes brainwaves to resonate in such a way that is in sync with the music. This brings about higher level of alertness and concentration. Now finally, music can stay in your head long after hearing it. This is called an earworm. This is caused by a formulation or stimulation of the brain auditory cortex that fills in part of a song that you have heard before and play the song in your brain. Now, this is what helps you to remember lyrics and to replay music over and over in your head. So, having listed these facts, you will be able to understand, or you will be able to agree with me, that music goes a long way in helping man as an individual to achieve and attain the level in which he has been created to attain. After talking about music, definition of music, listing some facts about music, now let's go to music in Nigeria. How it relates to this nation as a country. In Nigeria today, popular music has been an important tool in the march towards the growth and development of the nation. As a tool, popular music has been used over the years to move the nation forward or otherwise at different stages. These studies will therefore examine contemporary Nigerian popular music in the light of what it is and how it has been and how it could still be used as a tool for national development. Now, I'll be citing relevant music examples. The following issues, among others, will be discussed in this study: popular music and national unity, popular music and national history, popular music and job provision, popular music and moral decadence, popular music and democracy, popular music and mass mobilization. This study concludes by giving some suggestions on how popular music can be employed with the context of what it has been to further enhance national development. Now, what is popular music? Popular music is that brand of music that generally enjoys the favor of being acceptable to the people among which it is made. That is the kind of music that relates to the people directly. The people enjoy it, they feel it, they can flow with it. That is popular music. The acceptability can be within a given cultural or geographical location, or can transcend cultural boundaries, thereby extending beyond its immediate locality. Different genres of music have at various times been made popular in Nigeria, especially since the invention of electronic media, which has made the production and the dissemination of sound possible. The evolution of popular music in Nigeria dates back to the 1920s. Some of the musical genre at this early stage include Sakara, Asiko, Highlife, and Juju, which evolved later in the 1930s as a local variation of the urban Western African palm wine greater tradition. Today, some of these musical genres still remain popular and have been improved upon, being made relevant in the contemporary musical scene. Now, genres which were traditional at their inception are also known today in the Nigerian musical scene. Examples are Waka, Dadakwada, Gelede, etc. Now, contemporary popular music is the modern commercial successful music available to the public through major commercial record companies. Example of such music in Nigeria today includes Juju, Afro Juju, Highlife, Higher Life, Fuji, Reggae, Apala, Waka, and Gospel. This musical genre, through the content of the music, have had great impact, positive and negative, on Nigerians, and a consequent effect on Nigeria as a nation. First, let us consider the negative impact of this music on Nigeria. Now, talking about negative influence of popular music. Popular music, like any other musical genre, has the capacity of arresting people's attention, and through its power of rhythm and melody, it does that. Now, the effect of music upon the listener is such that becomes evident in the kind of language, dance movement, facial expression, and gestures, and the kind of mood displayed by the lovers of such music, which is often learned by the fans as dictated by the musicians. Now, I remember in the early 90s, now we had a music in Nigeria called Makosa. Now, when kids hear the beat, before you can actually see anything, you see them making the gesture of their legs, or with their legs, with their hands, they want to dance Makosa. Now, these are the kind of influence people get from popular music. Now, it is common to have peculiar dance steps and gestures accompanying various styles of performance. A good example is Synchro System by King Sunny Ade in the 80s. Now, you see, it was known for the style of dance. It was known for the Synchro System kind of dance that he used on stage every time he performed. Now, a look at the content of popular music as we have it today in Nigeria reveals a lot of vulgarity, which has a consequent effect on moral decadence, especially upon the youth. Many artists, more or less, believe that unless they become vulgar, they will not have good audience appeal. Now, hence many of them, especially the Fuji, Juju, and the likes, become so carefree in their rendition, and such cultures are imbibed by the Nigerian recipients of the music. Thus, loose and indecent language is a negative influence of popular music on the Nigerian society. Now, if you look into our society today, you discover most of the music we listen to, that the kids listen to, they are filled with vulgar words that display a whole lot of decadence on our moral level as a nation. It has affected our growth as a nation because people now get used to the fact that these words used by their stars, the people they look up to, are good words, and they use these words in the society, which portrays us in a bad manner. That is the number one aspect of negative influence of popular music. Secondly, apart from language, the use of drugs and narcotics is another negative habit which many of the Nigerian youth learn from popular artists. Many of the artists believe that the use of drugs enhance their performance. They use it, and many of their friends who often want to be like them does it also like them. Now, a visit to late Fela Anikulapo's Kuti Shrine presents an example of how a popular artist can negatively influence his fans. Indian hemp and other drugs are freely used at such places. I remember the last time I drove around the area where his shrine is. Now, I remember that you don't actually even need to buy Indian hemp for you to smoke it, because the whole environment is saturated with Indian hemps. People believe he smoked it and it helped them to think. They believe he smoked it and it helped them to think better in the aspect of music. But whereas it does not. It actually affects and spoils our youth. It spoils their brain, it spoils their thinking, and this is one of the negative impacts of popular music on the youth. Thirdly, another common phenomenon with the Nigerian popular musician is the use of touts, which they call bouncers or packers. These boys are used often for fighting when need arises at the performance of the artist. They stand around as defenders or protectors of the band leader and instruments. This encourages idleness on the part of many young ones, and it is not towards nation building. Now you see them, they go to the gym, they get built up. Now it's not just about getting all the muscles and all the body. You should contribute to the national development of the nation with your brain, not just with your body. Now these guys are used to fight. I remember the case that happened between Idris Abdul Karim and 50 Cent. Now these boys were actually the ones that were used for the issue or for the fight during that issue they had. Now also you've heard of cases of juju artists or I love artists going to perform in a place, and they go with all those boys and a whole lot of hams and harmonizations and things like that. And whenever issue occur, you discover that they kill each other, they wound each other, they injure each other, which is not helping our nation. Another common negative influence of popular music is conflict and quarrel among the popular artists. It is very common to have artists in conflict releasing albums to abuse themselves, using uncomplimentary languages against one another. These records are released into the market and are consumed by the populace. Through it, they learn how to abuse and how to be people's enemies. Sometimes the conflict is even passed on to the fans, and this leads to death, riot and chaos in most cases, where the two factions or fans meet and there is argument. Now you've heard of cases where artists release albums and they abuse each other. Now there are two different factions of fan. This one is here and the other one is here, faction A and faction B. And these two factions, when they merge, you see them singing songs. You know, Yoruba call it Oriote. They are singing songs to abuse each other. Now when these people start singing songs, the end product of this is fight, it's crisis, and there will be chaos. And when there is chaos, there is destruction of property, there is destruction of life, which does not help national development. Although popular music presents some negative impact upon the nation and its citizen, the positive contribution towards nation building cannot also be ignored. It must be observed that the Nigerian music scene, as reflected in the popular music, is such that cannot be separated from the history of the nation and its development. Popular music has therefore been a tool for national development in Nigeria in the following ways. Firstly, I'll talk about popular music and national identity. Popular music in Nigeria carries with it a national identity which portrays it as a music that is indigenous to Nigeria. The various musical genres, through the use of language, costume and musical instruments, present the very rich Nigeria cultural and societal heritage. Many popular artists today employ the use of the three major Nigerian languages in their presentation: Hausa, Igbo and Yoruba. These languages are used as medium of expression in musical performances. This is an effort on the part of the musicians to carry along everybody in the country, but also an identity that is peculiar to Nigeria. The costume employed also reflects the Nigerian way of dressing and showing the particular region from which the artist hails from. The musical instruments employed by many of these popular artists are both Western and African. The Nigerian popular musician is, however, recognized by his unique employment of the traditional instruments that he blends so well with the Western instruments or used exclusively. The music of Lagbaja, for example, a popular artist in Nigeria, is worthy of note here. He calls his music higher life. The use of bata and dundun drums by this artist, blended with the Western saxophone, gives his music an identity that is peculiar. Worthy of note also is the peculiarity of his costume, which is a Nigerian culture indicator. Secondly, we'll be talking about popular music and national unity. Now, music is a binding force. It brings together, by reason of its rhythm and melody, people of different cultures, ideologies, and diverse inclinations. Popular music in Nigeria has over the years preached national unity. Now, the text of the song criticizes disunity, division, and the oppression of a segment of the nation by another. The popular artists in Nigeria have demonstrated their call for national unity through the formation of the Performing Musicians Association. Example of the songs, or of these songs, the likes of songs done by King Sunny Ade on national unity on oneness. Now, the one done by Two-Face during general election with, I think it was, it was Solar D. He did a song with an artist then talking about national election. Now I remember something, the song was somewhat like, "If you like say they want to tell us another story again you." Now this song was actually used to tell the people the kind of politicians we have, what they do every 4 years, and how to counteract these things. Now we also have the likes of the song from Onyeka Onwenu, "One Love Keep Us Together." Now these songs were done to bring the people together. It brings about unity. It helps us as a nation to bring people from different regions, from different cultural heritage, or from different cultural background together as a person to form a united nation. Another aspect of positive influence of popular music on Nigeria, and we'll be talking about popular music and national history. The content of music performed by the popular musicians are derived mainly from the occurrence in the societies within which they live. The documentation of songs through electronic media form history at a later date. An examination of song text recorded in the past reveals past occurrence. For example, Sandra Barnes in 1980 quote in one of her writing a song by Juju superstar Sunny Ade publicizing the switch from left-hand drive to right-hand drive in 1972. Now, also we have the likes of songs by Ebenezer Obey that sang, I remember the song while growing up, the song sounds something like Now this song was a reflection of a great man that died. Now he sang the song in memory of late Obafemi Awolowo. Now generations to come, when they listen to these songs, they will be able to reflect back to the past. They will be able to know what happened in the past, how their forefathers lived, what their forefathers did, the legacies their forefathers left behind. So popular music to an extent has helped us to build our national history. It has helped us to preserve our national history. Also, you remember during the accident of Adegoke Adelabu in an automobile accident in 1958, Aruno Ishola and his Akbala group also they recorded a song to reflect that, to state the death of Aruno Ishola in 1958. Finally, I'll be talking about popular music and job provision. Unemployment is a major problem in Nigeria today because of the poor economy. Popular music has, however, helped as a means of job provision for the unemployed. It must be observed that not many of the popular artists have formal musical training. Some of them are trained in other disciplines. They find the field of music to be an area where they can earn their living. Musical performance today creates room for self-employment. That is why today in the musical scene there is one-man show. Now it is to be noted also that a band performance requires the cooperation of other musicians and professionals. Hence, many hands are employed to do various things in a popular music band. Job opportunities are created for songwriters, instrumentalists, technicians, engineers, producers, managers, and so on. Now, in Nigeria today, many people are employed through the industry of music in general and popular music in particular. So you can discover, or you'll be able to relate with me here, that music to a larger extent has been able to help us in providing job for the youth. Now most of the youth that you find on the street robbing, that you find on the street smoking and doing a whole lot of things that would damage the integrity of a nation as Nigeria, they are gainfully employed in music. Some of them play bass guitar, some of them sing, some of them play instruments, some of them are employed on stage to do electrical connections, some of them are employed also to do the sound editing and the rest of it. So music to a larger extent has helped us in building our national income as a nation by providing job for the youth. In conclusion, from the foregoing discussion, attempt has been made to present contemporary popular music in the light of what it has been and its implication for the Nigerian society in terms of national development, both positively and negatively. The contemporary Nigerian popular music must be conscious of the role they play in national development. In the words of Peter Martins, 1995, music is a social product, social resource, and social practice. As such, it is not autonomous, but is created and performed by real people in particular times and places. In doing so, they reveal much about themselves and their societies. Martin states further that the time is right to take a fresh look at music and its effects, as today's music resonates with the consequence of cultural globalization and the transformation wrought by new electronic media. While this study highlights some negative effects that contemporary Nigerian popular music may have on the society, the focus is essentially to concentrate on how contemporary Nigerian popular music can be deployed as a tool for national development in the specific area of national identity, national unity, national history, job provision. The practitioners in their songwriting and performance, and the analysts, especially in scholarly endeavors and academic discourse, must consider how to make contemporary Nigerian popular music relevant as an instrument of integration for progress and development, and not a tool for disintegration and retrogression. Okay, I want to use this medium to say a big thank you to my lecturer, Mr. Promise Emeka Ihe Koroye, and to you, my viewers. Thank you.